What's on, ladies and gentlemen? My name's Ross, I like games, and today we are continuing our look at the Transformers trading card game by having a look at one of the cards that comes in the Metroplex deck. Now, one of the interesting things about the Metroplex deck is that it involves a whole bunch of cards that are 4 cost, and we've already done a video where we look at the best 4 costs. But today I want to have a little look at Scamper. Because Scamper, specifically, is a 4-cost card. And that means that we are opening up options with cards decks that, quite frankly, we didn't have before. And that's what's very, very exciting here. I was going to do this video a couple days ago, but other stuff happened. But we're here now, ladies and gentlemen. And honestly, the obvious place to start here is with Cliffjumper. Now, the sad thing about Cliffjumper is that Cliffjumper was a convention-exclusive card. It could only be gained in the convention packs, which means it's a very expensive card at the moment, which, to be frank, is incredibly annoying. It's an 8 cost, which is very standard, and it's got the average health, and it's got the average defense, and it's got 1 higher than average attack in both modes. So purely from a stats point of view, this is a very good card indeed. The stats are higher than we would expect, given average cost, average health, average defense, above average attack. And in alt mode, you flip one of your other cards to bot mode and you draw a card. Well, hang on a second, this is sounding pretty good. Because, of course, the more cards you've got, the more cards you can flip to bot mode, and the more cards that you can draw. Now, annoyingly, you actually miss out on a great combo with Rollout here, because Rollout flips all of your characters from bot mode to alt mode, and Cliffjumper gets the extra card when you go from alt mode to bot mode, which is kind of annoying. But you're playing a lot of cards here. So actually, you get to draw extra cards. And then if we flick to bot mode, it gets even more interesting. It says this has +1 attack for each card in your KO area. So in theory, you want to make sure that you're playing as many cards as possible. You want to get as many cards KO'd as possible, leaving you with just Cliffjumper. So then you can actually go about having very, very high attack. Kind of like Bumblebee, the secret rare Bumblebee, but with, worse stats overall because it's a cheaper card, but also potentially a better bonus from the skill here. Although Bumblebee does get +2 attack, +2 defense, which is pretty great. So why does Scamper make such a difference here? Well, the difference is that the cheapest cards we have, other than Scamper, are 6-cost cards. Which means you play Cliffjumper an 8 cost, and then you got your choice of 6-cost cards. You can play Autobot Jazz, 6 cost, Bumblebee Brave Warrior, 6 cost, Prowl Military Strategist, 6 cost, and I wouldn't but maybe you want to, Red Alert Security Chief, 6 cost. The problem is, you play Cliffjumper, you play 2 6-cost cards, and then all of a sudden you're at 20 stars. Well, I just told you the cheapest car was 6. You can't do that. But now you can play Cliffjumper with 2 6-cost cars and Scamper. And now, instead of having a 3-card deck, we've got a 4-card deck. And that makes a huge, huge difference. It means that when Cliffjumper is the only card left, instead of having 7 attack from your 2 departed cars, you've got 8 attack from your 3 departed cars. It means rather than having 2 other cars that can flip to draw you a card, there's 3 other cars that can flip to draw you a card. And this is kind of what I was getting about in my video the other day. Scamper's abilities are both Metroplex focused. Gives Metroplex bold 1 in car mode, and when you flip into bot mode and have Metroplex on the field, you scrap an enemy weapon or armor. The skills are rubbish and the stats aren't very inspiring. But here, it's literally just an extra car. Because it used to be, if you wanted to play Cliffjumper, you could play Cliffjumper, and you could play 2 other cars. Well, here, you can still play Cliffjumper. You can still play those two other cars. The difference is, instead of playing a 5-cost like RC, for instance, which would essentially be just, oh, I've got 5 stars left, I might as well, you're now playing another car, which means that something like Cliffjumper gets a huge bonus from doing so. This is wonderful. The other one that really springs to mind here is Prowl Military Strategist, which, yes, that is also a 6-cost car. So you can play this with our Cliffjumper deck with no issues. And Prowl is brilliant if you're playing cars. So with Prowl, in bot mode, if one of your cars is KO'd, repair 3 damage from one of your characters. So, worst case scenario here, you chuck Scamper out onto the field, and it gets KO'd like super quickly. Well, when it gets KO'd, Prowl allows you to repair 3 damage from one of your other characters. Now, Prowl has got to be in bot mode to have the skill, and Scamper's got to be in car mode, because if it's in bot mode, it's not a car when it gets KO'd. But as long as it does, you get to heal 3 damage, or repair 3 damage, from one of your characters. But actually here, if we look at the action cards we've got for repairing, this is really good. I mean, the best pure repair we have is emergency maintenance. Well, medic repairs 2 damage flat, and then emergency maintenance repairs 3 damage, but only if you've got more stars in your KO area than you do on your battlefield. This just repairs 3 damage when a car gets KO'd. So even if Scamper gets KO'd super quickly, you get the heal bonus with Prowl, and then you've got a car in your KO area, which means that your Cliffjumper gets the extra damage here, which is really, really nice. The other thing we see on Prowl here is the car mode skill, which says when you flip to this mode, each of your cars gets bold 2 until the end of the turn. Incidentally, this would work great with rollout, because Prowl flips over and gives all of your cars bold 2, and of course rollout is also flipping all of your other cars into car mode, so this would work beautifully. And I'm not going to sit here and argue that Scamper is some phenomenal extra card. It's not great at attacking, but it's still useful to give it bold too. It still makes it a better attacker than it was before. And that's essentially where Scamper comes in and why Scamper's so gosh darned good. It works beautifully with Cliffjumper. It works beautifully with Prowl, really helping on all the abilities there, while also just allowing you to play a 4-wide car deck rather than having to play a 3-wide car deck and then essentially chucking in a motorcycle. Motorcycles aren't cars. Not to mention, of course, we've still got access to turbo boosters, put on cars only. When you put this on a character, untap that character. And I know that Scamper's your worst attacker, so I know that generally speaking you're going to want to untap one of your other cars, but maybe your opponent leaves it till the end. If you've only got an RC left out, then this isn't going to help. Whereas if you've only got this, it will help. I know RC's got really good skills, and I did a video. In fact, RC was the first card I ever actually profiled on this channel. I got a soft spot for RC. But as I've said, motorcycles, they're not cars, ladies and gentlemen. We also have the car-focused action card Start Your Engines. Flip each your characters from bot mode to car mode, then untap one of your cars. And again, this could be used really nicely with something like Prowl. If you want to get all of your cars into car mode at once, this will do that very, very nicely indeed. I'm not ever, I think, going to argue that Scamper's an amazing card. I don't think it is. But having 4-cost cars, and 4-cost cards in general, open up new strategies that we didn't have before. And you'd best believe being able to play 4 cars in a deck is better than playing 3. Because the other thing is, we're in wave 1 right now. Who knows what cards we're going to have in the future? I mean, if you look at something like Insecticons, their action card they've got is Swarm. And Swarm does essentially better stuff depending on how many Insecticons you have on the field. Or actually you started the game with. And we don't have that with cards right now. But maybe we do in Wave 2. Now, similarly, you could say, well, maybe we get a 4-cost car in Wave 2. Maybe we do. Although, to be honest, doesn't look like we are. It seems like lower than 5 is reserved for special characters like these ones from Metroplex. But the reality is we may end up getting cars in the future which depend on having as many cars as possible. Or skills on future cars that have bonuses for having as many cars as possible. And for all of that, Scamper is absolutely beautiful. But I want to know what you think. How do you feel about Scamper being in a 4-wide cars deck? Do you think it is viable and good and all of that? Or do you think you'd just rather play a non-car to make up the difference? Let me know in the comment section, ladies and gentlemen. Go nuts, but please do remember the rule. Be nice, would ya? And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, and follow me over on Twitter @the Wossy. But by far the most important thing, as always, is to look after yourselves until next time. Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching Wossy Plays.